Welcome, Mr. Sudip Mukherjee.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are a very familiar face for all of us, and
Am I that part of the country?
I have seen you, yes.
Then I would say I'm a lucky person.
We are a group of students and teachers of English literature from all over India. We study film and art and other interdisciplinary subjects of humanities also. And obviously, we are all film enthusiasts and eager to understand and know about the film industry and the art of film more. So we have a film appreciation course running at Trivandrum, in-person course run by Mr. Anand Haridas. He is a senior media personality and a writer, a content curator, and a great friend of ours. So he has taken the initiative to not only offer film appreciation classes, but also put together the program called Let's Talk Films, where we have the opportunity to listen to eminent personalities like you from a perspective that we have not known much about, the insider's perspective, and also sometimes the critic's perspective. So it's with great pleasure that I welcome you, sir, to this program, and I welcome each and every one of you here. There'll be more people joining. Usually when we say 2 o'clock, they'll come 10 minutes late, but they'll be here. I hand over the session to you, Anand, sir. You can please proceed from here.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Kalyani. So we have already started getting, we have Ampika Bhargavi Vairagya. She said, good afternoon, sir. It's an absolute honor to have you opportunity. She has been following you in TV for long. So Ampika is here, so she is thrilled to have you here.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. So
most of our students, by the way, most of our students, by the way, are Bengalis. And we are like 50% Bengali company than Malayali. So, and also our students from all over India. Yes. I'm sure you have a very big fan following.
Such a pleasure.
Lecture. Yes.
That's a pleasant surprise, definitely.
So Sudipta, so now you know why you are here, and because you are familiar to us in a way, because you are one of the most recognizable faces in Bangla film and television industry. I think my reading is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. You started your major work started from 2007 onwards with the film Tiger, I believe.
Not really. That was 7 years later.
Okay.
When I started, my professional career started in 2000. My prominent works actually started in 2000 itself.
Okay.
I started getting popular through my television work.
Okay.
Where I was probably from my third series, I was the lead in television series. Daily soaps was becoming popular then. So I was very lucky to get into eminent characters and interesting characters. To get popular very early on.
Okay.
There was not much struggle during my beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And in about 2-3 years' time, I started working in films. My first prominent film in Bengali was Shongi. Director Haranath Chakraborty is a very popular entertainment film director. I don't call it commercial film like people usually say. It's commercial film or art film. I believe all the films are commercial and art. And sometimes it is entertainment, and sometimes it is realistic, and sometimes it is in between, more of philosophy. Every film has a commercial perspective to it and an artistic perspective to it. Each and every film, irrespective of the budget. I started getting into popular films since 2003, my first film was Shongi, as I told you. Then I was lead in a film called Kata Tar in 2005, where I was the first. It was my first lead as a hero. It was not really hero. It was more of a realistic film. Director was Bappaditya. It was internationally acclaimed film. Kata Tar. Srilekha was my heroine. Ruth O'Neill was there. That's how I started working. in 2007, the film which you're referring to, Tiger is not a very prominent work of mine. I probably had a small role over there.
So,
Yeah.
so you have rightly said that you're right from 2000,
But
which is
Tiger was a very popular film, so I was there, and Mithun Chakraborty was the hero. So
okay.
probably I got basked in his glory.
But then you have been working from 2000 onwards, and as you have rightly said, you were fortunate to get the characters.
Professionally, yes. Professionally,
Yeah, so-
yes.
Oh, so but then the question, like for our students, they would like to know that how do you reach your characters? Like how do you pick your characters, or do the characters pick you? So how does that alchemy works? Because as you know, the alchemy of characters is our theme today. So how does that happen? The actor and the character, that bonding, how does it happen, and when does it happen?
I became an actor, a professional actor, and I always believed that an actor can do everything. He's a complete artist who can perform anything given a chance. So when I started working, I trusted directors who approached me in whatever characters they tried to fit me in. Because I trust them, because they have something in mind, keeping me in mind. So I trust them. I was really not a big chooser of characters unless I was very tied up with some other project. I tried to build on the characters which directors came up to me. So we used to discuss the kind of characters they want me to do. So more or less, unfortunately, there are a few characters which got typecast. And there are, again, I was very lucky to get directors who also cast me in different characters, which everybody else or different people did not think of. Like my character in Katatar. It was a very interesting character. This man was a weatherman, the old type weatherman who used to fly balloons to get informations, weather informations, and used to live in an isolated island. So his psychology, being a loner in a place, in a self-secluded place, he used to stay in an island. So what was his set of mind? Because he was there for 3, 4 years. You have to understand the economic background also. Probably he used to get a salary of 1,500 rupees then, and which was moderate. And he didn't have any family, and he was not a very educated person. He was a unmasked person who knew how to fly balloon and collect information through that, or understand the weather focus, whether it will be windy or not, or summer or. And he was also isolated from the mainland. So he was not into any kind of social contact. Only his assistant, which Rudro played, this man's assistant was the only contact with him with the mainland. And here comes this woman. Uh, he was running away from life. He was running away from, and he was this in this border area which was surrounded by barbed wire, which is Kata Tag. And his relationship with this woman, after so many years, he gets into touch with. There are so many perspectives to work on. His isolation, his loneliness. Hello, are you? Are you
Yeah,
there?
we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So his isolation, he was not in touch with any other person other than this his assistant, and there was this third person who comes in after 4, 5 years probably, and she is a woman. So there was always a psychological barrier and a physical barrier and physical attraction and a psychological attraction and frustration of not getting in touch with. So there were a lot of complexities in this character. So uh, you study like that. It's very simple. It's like solving your maths problem. You know, what kind of man is he? This man was 35 years old and he has had his figure, but he was isolated in an island. He was not in touch with any other person. And this he comes in touch with this person after a long time. So, once you start climbing the ladders, you build characters to it. You get into the characters. So it's a step-by-step method. So all you have to do is keep your mind open and your uh, what do you say, conscience open, your intelligence open to what can happen, what are the perspectives, and what are the prospects. So you study people, you study different kind of people as you walk down the street, and you keep your ears and eyes open because every person has their own reflexes, has their own sensitivities, has their own sensibilities, you know. So you keep studying them, and nothing is wrong unless you are not convinced. You have to be convinced in portraying the character. If you're not convinced, then you cannot convince others, and that portrayal becomes wrong, as people say. But no portrayal is wrong if you are convinced and you are able to convince others, you know, because different people react differently in similar situation. So there are thousands of people around who falls in a similar situation and can react different in thousand different ways. So you cannot say this is the right and this is wrong. So you have to have that flexibility, that perspective, that open mind to solve the problem and get into the character. It's very simple.
So taking this conversation forward, so what I'd like to know is what are the preparations? So you just said that you keep observing people around so that you get the character, the key that you need to portray the character. But then the question is, when does this process start? Like when does it start when the director or the writer briefs you about the story? Then you start working on the character, building the mannerisms, everything. So when the narration is done for you, how does it happen? How does it the character gets into you? Like how you enter into the character?
See, as you listen to the story, that's the first step. And you get a director's perspective. Director is the philosopher who wants to portray his philosophy through films. It's as simple as that. Whatever he believes in. So you have to communicate with the director, get into a platform where you can you understand what the director wants from you, and then you get into the character. You must know how to ask questions. You must know, you must learn to question yourself and the director. The basic questions which you can come up with is like, what is this man's age? What is his economic background? What is his social background? What is his family kind? What is his surroundings? What kind of job is he doing? You know? So, and his state of mind obviously comes in a more complex part of the questioning. So slowly you build, these are the basic questions you must know. Exactly what kind of character is he playing? Right? What is his age? What is his economic background? What is his family? What is his social background? And so on. So and then you build on that. And then you discuss scripts and dialogues accordingly. The director, not always you will like the dialogues which are given to you, because when a script writer write, not all the dialogue writers are dialogue writers. They will write a script where all the characters will sound similar, but then a dialogue writer will write dialogues according to the character. Not are equally talented. So, Anjan Chaudhary was one of the directors who could write dialogues actually for different characters, did different dialogues for different characters. Not everyone can do that. Then you sit with the director and you can discuss the character with the director and change the dialogue pattern accordingly. That experience will, as you start working and you gain experiences, it becomes easier for you. And there's no definite rule for that. You start gaining experience and your questions start differing from when you have started when you have started your career and after 15 years of life. So that's how it is like.
So that the characters evolve in a continuous process, which
It's a
happens along with
continuous
the
process. It's very simple, Anand. Like, suppose you start driving a car. When you start driving a car, in the beginning, first month, you're stiff, you're jittery, you don't know where to, you have to look down, which part of the steering I'm holding. You have to look at the gear, where the gear is, and you have to sometimes peek into the accelerator and clutch also. And you start driving, you evolve, and it becomes easier, it becomes a habit, you know. So that's how a professional actor builds. That's how any professional builds their life. So it becomes easier, it becomes habit, and your characters evolve.
Okay. So this is true about the film acting and the television, where you get a briefing about whether you get a narration, you get a brief
See,
about the character.
film acting and television actings are slightly different. And now web series are coming up. So these are three different platforms in front of camera.
So
Serial acting
can you
is
explain it
more
a
of,
bit more? Can you elaborate on it?
yes, I'm exactly doing that. I'll start with the television acting. Television acting is more dialogue oriented. People keep on talking, incidences occurs, but basic support is dialogues. People talk too much in uh, television. So because, you know, who are the viewers of televisions? The people who are stranded at home, mostly homemakers. They are at home, they work, and they either watch the television or listen to the television, the audio. So television work is more of audio. There is too much of talking done, too much of dialogue exchanges and music. Okay, even when somebody is working there, she can hear what is going on and connect immediately when she comes into and watch the television. You are not concentrating absolutely on screen throughout the time. And then film is much larger than life because you watch film in a bigger screen. You look up to the screen. You will always see the screen is above you. So it is larger than that. That's how the film that celluloid has come up with. So the characters is larger than life. You can grow beyond your character. It's more like superhuman. And I'm talking about when it's all began. I think people know more about films now because there are a lot of behind the scenes which is shown, which has come up. You can go through YouTube's and find out how the film is being made. But it used to be a secret some times ago, even few years ago. So it used to be larger than life. That's why we used to call it silver screen because people used to be awestruck with the people on screen of larger platform. You know, that's how film works. So film, the basic difference between television and film is depth of field. We call it depth of field. So the three-dimensional look is more apt. Television is more two-dimensional and film is more three-dimensional. You look beyond the characters. You go much beyond the characters. That's the basic difference. And then you work, and there are a lot of actions which goes on. You walk down the street to get into the mood of, because it is a 2 hours of storytelling. All right, so you get into the character through different actions, different moods, and then you get into the talking, and then your depth of field works to give you that larger than life feeling. And web series has come up. Web series is something which is very interesting, where you have a chance of experimenting. Since you have to buy tickets for films, I'll talk about a series called Game of Thrones, where a lot of psychological complexities come in, along with the mounting of the. Am I clear?
Yeah, it's breaking up. What we got is like in web series, it's layered, it's realistic and layered at the same time.
It is more, and you can experiment a lot in web series where you get into the more complexities of the characters, complexities of presentation. There are a lot of scope of experimenting. Like you have like Game of Thrones, where you are actually telling a story. It's like reading a very complex book. So the presentation is more elaborate because you have the uh, chance of experimenting, because there are people who you cannot connect through films, because in films the people audience would go and buy tickets whether I if only I like, and I if I feel like watching that, if the hype is that good. But once the series is on the platform, then suppose I don't know about the series, I'm probably watching an OTT platform, and then this interesting poster comes in. Oh, this is Spartacus. Okay, let me see. And then they see very spectacular visualization and complex characters and get into the series. So directors are more uh, open, and they have more scope of experimenting in web series. And there are a lot of actions and more realistic and larger than life. So that's the basic difference. In films, you cannot experiment much because you have to attract people to buy tickets. In television, you have people are like, they want to connect with people who are stuck at home. In web series, you are actually connecting with the youth and more urban audience. So the storytelling, it's more thrill, more suspense, more murder, more sexualities. These masalas are all going in web series. And the pattern of acting is more realistic.
Yeah, in this context, I think Kavya has a question for you. Kavya, are you online?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Kavya, yeah, go ahead with your question. I think your question is related to what he has been speaking just now.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is, the upcoming actors who want to act, there are so many intentions, and they want to achieve something more, but they won't know how to do anything, and how to prepare. According to you, what preparation they must do before entering the industry, sir? This is my question.
First of all, you must understand anybody coming in film industry to act. First thing, you must understand that you're getting into an insecure zone. This is not an office job where you start working from 10 to 5 and like get salaries at the end of the month. You have to know that you are actually driving yourself into an insecure zone. You're jumping into an ocean. So you have to swim. You must know how to learn to swim. So you have to prepare. There are a lot of workshops which goes on. There are a lot of teachers who teach you the uh, analysis of acting. There are audio like speeches. You have to correct your speeches. You have to work on your body language. And for heroines, if you are getting into entertainment films, you must learn dancing. These are all added, talents, added virtues which which will add on to your, sparkles to add on to your uh, career, whatever you want to do, like singing and dancing. But the basic, you have to, first of all, you must come out of the comfort zone. You have to break that comfort zone and come out of it so that you're flexible to do anything and everything. For acting, you have to forget what is shame. You have to forget that you are educated, and the bourgeoisie psychology of yours. You have to come out of that. You have to break your shackle every time. So that's the first thing you have to do. You have to break the feeling of man and woman. You will be a person first, you will be a human being first, and then start preparing. So you have to come break the shackle that you have been brought up throughout your life. That's the first thing you have to do. And then you have to work on your speech, and then you have to study and get into a good theater helps a lot if you get into the stage and work on theaters. That I have learned my craft through theaters mostly, and rest I started working the technicalities of cameras and whatever it is that I have learned with experience. But basic acting theory which I have learned, or practical which I have learned, has come up from theaters. We used to do a lot of workshops, different kind of workshop that broke these, mind, the shackles in the mind that we always keep. So you have to come out of that comfort zone and make the difficult zone comfortable for yourself.
So because that exactly what I had in mind. Because you are a very strong presence in theater. You have been doing theater even while you are very busy in films and television series. You still have a very strong bond with theater. So theater acting, where there are no retakes, where there are no readings, theater is more organic way of communicating with the audience. So how does that train you as an actor? Or probably the participants will be interesting to hear from you, your experience as a theater actor.
See, I always believed in physical workshops, rather than theoretical workshops. I've done a lot of physical workshops, which works on your reflexes and flexibilities. Those shackles which we grew on, the conservative mindset, that started breaking when I started doing theaters and attending workshops. Because these physical workshops, they used to break everything. The male, female chauvinism, male, female marks. They will work on your mindset that you can do just everything as an actor. You cannot have that feeling of being a man. You cannot have that feeling that you have shame. You cannot have that feeling that you are educated. I can only do this. I can only do that. So you have to, the theater workshop actually breaks that shackle but then for theater, for that organic look on stage, you do a lot of rehearsals. The physical rehearsal is there, the theoretical rehearsal is there, the composite rehearsals are there. There are a lot of rehearsal and permutations and combinations, choreography, which goes on, and speech also. So you get to, for one theater preparation, you get to work for at least 70 rehearsals, which includes sitting script reading, which includes exchanging of ideas, which includes physical workshop, the characters, individual physical workshop of the characters for professional theater. I'm only talking about professional theater, the group theater, which we call in Kolkata. And then you actually club these together for choreography, on stage choreography. And then you work on that. So earlier, when I was young, we used to, for one stage show, we used to work for 100 rehearsals, go for 100 rehearsals. Nowadays, I don't get much time. And since I am always into some kind of practice due to my shoot and other shows, so I generally perform after 10 rehearsals on stage. So that's because I have grown this habit, and it has grew in me for so many years. So that becomes easier. So it's like eating food for me.
Yeah, I think Sharika has a question for you here. Sharika, you on me?
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon.
Sir, I myself was a part of the Thespian Society of my college. And I was first into the dramatics team, and then later on they took me into the props committee also. So I'm good at art. So I know, it's a lot of physical pressure also. If you have to make a big, a board or stuff like that.
Yes.
There's a lot of painting involved.
Backstage preparation is very organized. Yes.
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 So that also takes, it takes a mental toll on you. And now
Absolutely.
I was just wondering, now when I see, okay, now I used to think that drama is way easier than film, but then I realized that both are two different, very different things. And, with the advent of social media, with people criticizing actors and actresses, it was not the same previously where you just get criticized for absolutely nothing. And people talk about nepotism, they talk about so many other things, about whether your costume or your makeup or anything. How do you psychologically navigate this? Because I remember when I was in the thespian society, we literally needed a break from the psychological pressure. I'm wondering, as a filmmaker these days, and people criticize actors or actresses, maybe even if they just, they see them, they get flack for everything. But I feel for them, I feel bad from the other side, not as an audience, what they are going through. How does one
See,
navigate all this right now? Because previously I believe that it was easier.
it's very important to choose what is more important to you. What is more important to you? It's like getting into a relationship. So you have to choose the priorities. What is more important? You cannot give priorities to everything. Neither can you give importance to them. You have to choose your priorities. Actually, what you want to do. Everything has its own pressure, but nothing is more important than you yourself. Because unless you are physically and mentally in a stage, you cannot work because everything you do with your body and your mind. So you have to be very selfish in focusing on yourself to create something. Whatever. See, when I started working on stage, we had a very small theater group. We didn't have money. We depended on each other. We created our own sets. We used to paint. Even the posters we used to paint and then cyclo style and go out and pasted posters throughout the wall in the night because in the day people would scurry us everywhere. They won't support us. We used to take perforated papers and write on in with pen the seat numbers and say, "Okay, sir, please come and watch our show and donate if you like this." And we all used to also go to one act play competitions to create fund. If you get into one, two, three positions, you'll get some money. So that's how we did for 3, 4 years. So it was always a struggle to survive among big fish. So every stage has its own pressure. Now, when people know us a little bit, our pressure is more. We have pressure of performing rightly, performing properly, because it's a sense of responsibility with which grows with age and experience and with expectations. But then, social media is a virtual world. It's a virtual world where 90% of the people you don't know and not important to you at all. So it's not important to give them importance. It is more of your priority, exactly where you want to focus. You get me? It's very easy, in fact, with time, with evolution of technology and other gadgets, life has become very complicated because we have let our life become complicated. But it's a very simple life. You are born and you are supposed to die. That's it. It's a journey in between. To make your life easy, take that stride, that one step at a time. It's more psychological. I am talking about my psychology, which I work on. We have a lot of pressure. We have the day I got into this job, I started working in the film industry when I was 31 years old, where people used to settle. But I started from zero structure. And I knew that I might fail financially and every other way. So my mindset was whatever I am getting is a gift to me. So I started working on that, and I'm happy doing whatever I have done. So I did not let people's expectation pressurize me. It was my expectation towards myself, what I can do.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm just remembering this quote now.
Because
Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
absolutely, how does it matter? Whoever is there,
But then,
they're very.
yeah, you have explained very well what Sarika says. But then Sri Lakshmi Manoj has got another point to add to that. Sri Lakshmi, are you online?
Yes.
Yes, I am, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting me speak. Sharika, you said about handling the pressure, but there's just something that I love. I hate cancel culture a lot and the hatred that has become so easy to spread because of social media. But what I love about this culture is that everyone has a voice, and we get to hear voice of different people. I think art was exclusive to elite class, and now it's available to people of different economic class, and therefore this different view. If I were to release a film, god, I mean, I cannot, but if I was to release a film, let's say, about women breaking barriers, I'm sure a certain economic class, a certain people belonging, since we're talking in India, people belonging to a certain class would be offended by what I project in a movie. And I'm sure there'll be a different class that would love watching women breaking barriers. So I just think that people
It is something which you can choose. You know what you want to choose and what you don't want to choose. So you can opt out of what you don't like, because that gives you a negative pressure in your life.
definitely,
When
sir.
different people voice different words, you cannot give importance to everything, every word, because suppose you have 100 followers, there will be 100 people giving 100 opinions. So you have to
Definitely,
choose these opinions, and don't let these opinions pressurize you.
definitely. I think that's something that we need to inculcate if we plan to live a healthy and a sane life going forward, because I don't think internet is going anywhere. I don't think
Yes, you have
social
to live
media
a
is
very
going to
sane life.
yeah, we need to just accommodate and pick what we choose. It comes with so many discussions, even political discussions that are going on right now. You have to remove yourself from so many things that you cannot tolerate anymore, or you might not be able to talk or do much about it.
Yeah, but then Sri Lakshmi, as you have rightly said, art is always subjected to criticism and reviewing. So it is not about cancel culture, but then art will be reviewed. People will review.
The problem with social media is, Anand, the problem with social media is people are always ready to opinionate their things without giving reason, without giving points. They become judged to everyone, everything. They give their judgment. They pass the judgment rather than criticizing constructively. That is the problem. And sometimes people get motivated or bogged down by these negative comments. That's what I'm saying. That you must know you don't give too much importance to these comments. Choose your constructive. There are people who will be criticizing you constructively, maybe negative, but constructively. Because you cannot be perfect unless you accept your, failures. So someone will win and someone will fail. Someday you will win, someday you will fail. And everything is like you build on that. You learn from these failures and the success also. So everyone, those 100 people whom you don't know in social media, so you have to choose wisely exactly whom you want to give importance to. Because there are more of negative criticism which comes. People are very opinionated and judgment on social media.
So we'll come back to the core subject of you as a performer, as an artist, as a theater artist, and as an actor. One of the main tools that you have employed over the years is your sound. Sound is an integral part of your performance as an actor. So in this connection, I think Ananya has a question. Ananya?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good
Yeah.
afternoon, Sudip sir.
Hi, good
So,
afternoon, ma'am.
when I started learning, like training as an actor, the first thing I was told was that you need to work on your speech and your voice. There has to be a quality. So I have worked extensively on that, and I know that from where I began, it has gotten better. And I still I try to rehearse as much as possible. But I just wanted, I could not stop admiring your voice texture and quality. I really just wanted to ask, how much have you trained and practiced, or is it just, God gifted?
See, it's not the quality of the voice which actually works. I'll give you an example of Amitabh Bachchan sir. There are many baritone voices in the country. You must have heard of Raza Murad. You must have heard of Suresh Oberoi. You must have heard of Kabir Bedi. They all have baritone voices. But what makes Amitabh Bachchan stand out is the way he uses his voice, even though I would say Amitabh Bachchan's voice is not as uh, strong as Kabir Bedi or Amrish Puri or Suresh Oberoi, because it's not the quality of the voice, it's how you use the voice. I have a God-gifted voice. My family, every male in my family has this kind of voice. But I started working on this voice and started using it without being conscious in how baritonous my voice is.
Hmm.
You know,
I also sort of have gotten these
you can.
backhanded comments.
Every person has their own tonal quality, and which is equally good, provided they use it wisely. Provided the things you want to say, you emote properly. The emotions you start bringing out properly.
Right.
You know, so it have to use it properly. It's not how good your tonal quality is. It's how
Hmm.
wisely you use it.
Right. So it's about the speech then, not the voice quality.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, Sudipta, like you have used your voice, you rightly talked about how to use the voice that you already have. It's not about the tone quality, but about how you're using it. And you have demonstrated it in multiple ways. For example, you have been lending voice to a wide range of products, be it documentary or voiceover or dubbing films or announcements. So, how do you keep shifting from one genre to another, from corporate films, advertisements, or I have listened to your
Uh,
storytelling sessions also. My question was like you have used your voice for a wide range of products, animation films, and I have even listened to your storytelling sessions. So, storytelling sessions, advertisements, announcements. How do you change or adapt your voice? Because the tonal quality that you have is your own. So, how do you adapt
Audio
this
is a
into
very
different?
interesting, Anand, audio is a very interesting media. Suppose you shut your eyes. Uh, the first thing which we learned from audio thing is to your eye and listen to yourself. When you read a book, you actually act it out in your subconscious mind. So once you start practicing the fact that the thing which you are acting in your subconscious, suppose there are 50 characters in a storybook, you're acting 50 different characters in your subconscious. And the practice is to bring that subconscious to conscious. See, it is not possible to bring in 100% of those characters to conscious, but at least you can try to bring out 20%, 30% of those whatever it is in your mind, in the back of your mind while you're reading a story. And when you, in our younger age, when we were in nursery, class one, class two, we had to actually read books loudly. We have learned to read books loudly. It is much easier to concentrate when you are actually reading in your mind, but it becomes very difficult when you are, because your own voice resonates in your mind. You know, so what you learn to do is you shut your eyes and listen to yourself. Again, you have to connect with the director, whatever the director, the storyteller, or the story writer, or the director wants, because it's their baby. After all, any creation is director's baby. So you have to come to one single platform psychologically with them and then portray accordingly. And somehow these days I'm more spontaneous because I have not learned anything theoretically. So I'm more spontaneous when I read a book. Suppose I have a script out here where there's this guy called Mohit is there, who is, I don't know how many of you will understand Bengali, but Mohit is a young guy and Ashok is an older guy. So when Mohit speaks, he will speak like this. I'll just give an example. কি পড়বো কিচ্ছু বুঝতে পারছি না, কাল কাল ভেবে কাল ভেবে একটা ফাইনাল করেছিলাম, পুরোটা ঘেটে গেল. He's Mohit, who is about 24, 25 years old. He's more, eager to, so his pitch is high. He's more high, he's more hyper. Okay. But Ashok, his father, he will say, বাকি তো কিছু শুনছে বলে মনে হয় না, ও কিছু একটা করতে চাইছে, আমরা দেখি নাও কি করছে. He's more controlled because he has seen life more. Not necessarily every 50-year-old will be like this. But here, these two characters are such two different characters. One is hyper and is much, much more settled. The experience which brings in with age comes in, that sets in with age and success. The more successful you are, more settled you are. So that's how you portray it. This is two different. So it's very easy actually once you are into the practice. So it's more spontaneous. So you have to keep your mind open, exactly what you have to read between lines. When you read a storybook, you have to read between lines, not only the lines. So that will give you a character consciously. So similar with advertisements, like you go for an advertisement, the brand. Suppose someone is drinking a tea. So what do you relate tea with? You relate tea with relaxation, early morning, you sit in an Himalayan plateau, you're sitting in Darjeeling, mountain range outside, and you're drinking, sipping tea. It's more of serene and calm, and so the tea you want to portray, the tea brand you want to portray is more of, some chai, इसका एहसास ऐसा है, यह आपको ऐसा एहसास दिलाता है, इसका टेस्ट वैसा है, So it's more sublime, more controlled, more in bass. But when it comes to TMT steel bar, suppose TMT bars, right? Cement or bar, it's more of a strength. It's strong and you cannot break it. And it comes like this. Oh, it's very easy. The kind of character the product is, you portray that. So you can listen to my Licious voiceovers. So Licious is a product which is, they sell ready meats, fresh cut meat and fish. So what do you relate to meat? Bengalis, we relate to mutton with Sunday afternoon lunch, which is more relaxed and holiday-based lunch. So the mutton you're talking about must taste, when I see the saliva coming in, the taste bud, because you are actually portraying that mutton curry in your mind. So you're salivating accordingly. And since I am so practiced in it, it becomes very easy to salivate for me, to portray things easier. So I will go for, it's a freshly cut mutton with fats, equal proportion of fat, and we will have beautiful lunch in the afternoon. Oh my God, he's not going to work. He's waiting for the mutton to come in. So it's more of relaxed, personal. You get me? That's how you change. You must know the character of the product. That's it. Its audio is very interesting because you have to make people understand. You have to make people visualize the thing you want to, which you are saying. Suppose you're storytelling, you're talking about mountains, you're talking about desert.
He has just left us hungry. we are hungry for more. You just made us feel that
Okay, so
Sunday lunch.
yeah, actually, it's a lunchtime. I believe everyone had their lunch. So that's how it becomes very
No,
interesting. It's like that.
you were talking about the storytelling.
Storytelling is again something which you have to make people visualize through your explanations, to uh, like suppose you're talking about mountains. It has to be like mountains. It has to be desert. It has to be ocean. It has to be river. It has to be pond. So there are different kind of vastness in everything. Mountain is like large, so much larger than life. It's mountain. And desert has a kind of fat in it. So it's desert. And then ocean has some kind of depth in it. And it swirls and twirls. So it's ocean. And then there are river which flows. It's a river. And there is a pond which is a small thing. So it's pond. I am just explaining the differences in one word only of different things, mountain, desert, forest, where, uh, wild animals roam around and it threatens you, you know. So kind of feeling which you bring in your voice. Stories.
Okay. So, Dr. Kalyani, you were about to ask about something about the director's role in.
Many people say that it takes a good director to bring out the actor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Because
you could
the
also
baby
have
which
felt
grows,
limited by the director.
not see, you have to understand what the director wants, because the baby, after all, director is like a mother to the baby. So what we do as an actor or cinematographer or the art setting director or whoever is there, all the technical teams and the artist team, they are all like doctors and nurses and support staff, which helps the mother to grow that baby in the womb and like deliver and help the baby grow. So you have to come to a psychological level, similar platform with the director to know exactly what it wants. Then it becomes easy. See, your visualization of a story. Suppose you're painting a mountain. So the way you will paint will not be same as, even though we are painting the same mountain. Yours will be different because your mind, your psychological, your psyche, your set of mind, your is that present moment, your psychological set in that present moment will be different from mine. So I will paint the mountain differently than you. You get me?
Yeah. So
But
you
you have
think
to,
that the consciousness of the director controls the text? It cannot be in any other way.
you can discuss whether, and you can always give it in your points. If the director agrees to that, very well. Otherwise, you have to go by the director, because after all, it's a director's media.
When it comes to humor, for example, isn't the actor greater than the director? Maybe the actor is improvising. It's all about acting, more about
So
acting than
there are very few actors who are larger than directors. You
Yes.
get me? Even actor like Uttam Kumar, who was we call him the god of Bengali films. Even when he went to Satyajit Ray, it was Satyajit Ray's, Satyajit Ray, even his film, like, he had to listen to what Satyajit Ray wants. But there are directors who would come to Uttam Babu and say, Dada, apni ja korben tai hoye, theek ache. That does not help.
What does that mean? What is the dialogue? Dada?
Sir, whatever you do is good with us.
Okay.
Then it's like, how can you be a mother of a child if you're like giving it, you are depending on others only? See, it's a child born to a mother. A film or a series or whatever your creation is your child. It's your child, you know. Everyone can support you, give you nourishment, give you whatever pain you want to, they want to give you. But after all, the child is yours. So any actor cannot dictate on your child. Actors can be like doctors. Like they can suggest you something. But you have to carry the baby in your womb. You get me? It is you who will take care of the baby after all. In the hand, you will nourish the baby, you breastfeed the baby, and you make him grow. It's like that.
What's the most challenging that role that you did? And why was it challenging?
See, every role is challenging, but I would talk about a character called Shubir Guho, where I portrayed a character of politician, corrupt politician, in a series called Kurukshetra. It was in way back in 2008. It ran for 3 years and it was very popular. This character was very hyper and very abusive, which I am not. So, since it was a daily soap, you had to be in that groove every day, since morning to evening, in that groove, in that mindset. So, sometimes it used to take toll of the, it used to make me tired physically also. And then I portrayed this character in a film called Chhayamoy. The character's name was Lakshman. He was a uh, chowkidar, or I would say bodyguard of Zamindar. So he was absolutely rural guy, absolutely grounded guy, grassroots level guy, absolutely, subaltern guy, without education. And he was dark and he was crude and he was funny. So I played that character. That was most challenging part, was turning me dark. So I had to my makeup used to go on for 3 hours. It took 4 hours to take it out. Even then, the entire makeup was not gone. My entire hotel room used to turn dark with the paint when I took bath. It was funny character. It was challenge, and all these challenges make you work harder. May make your work interesting. You don't need to take rest after the work, because this is what you are there for, to take up these challenges. Interesting characters that is our multivitamin. It gives you energy.
You get energy from the work.
Yes, absolutely. If I don't get work, I cannot sit for 2 minutes at a place. It will bog me down. It will depress me I don't work. If I don't get challenging work.
We understand that you're talking to us right in the middle of a shoot. So you are working right now. So Rakshita, I think there's a question waiting for you, because there is something that I
Yes,
want
sir.
to ask you about the actor, but then we'll come to that after this. Yeah, go ahead. With your question, Rakshita.
Thank you, sir. Sir, first of all, I'm very grateful to be in your presence, and thank you so much for such an interesting session. What I want to ask is that, sir, in the present time where the world is just, how do I put it, one scene short of being a noir, how does a director like you, how does your psyche works? Like, do you want the audience to experience that tragedy which is going on, because it's a collective consciousness? After all, we are experiencing one thing, we all are. So how do you want that the audience to perceive it? Do you want to take them to that dark journey, or do you want them to maybe stray away and be maybe
See,
sort of
I'll put it in a very simple way.
yeah.
I'll put it in a very simple way. Suppose I'm a chef, all right, and I am cooking any kind of food. Say I'm cooking mutton. So definitely I'll give that kind of spice which I feel is good for the mutton.
Hmm.
I'll only ask you, if you are a single person, that how would you like your dish? Would you like it to be spicy, or you would like to be more uh, soothing? But when it is more collective, how can I go to different persons? So it will be my perspective which I want people to understand.
Right. Makes
It's
sense.
always like
So,
that. And when this collective consciousness meet with director's consciousness or philosophy, then the film becomes success.
Definitely, sir.
Otherwise, people reject it. Yeah.
Cannot agree to you more there. But one question that I have following that, in the very beginning of the session, so you said that director is more or less a philosopher. I want to know that since every every person who's walking this, maybe just walking around, they have a story to tell. Every person is a
Absolutely.
protagonist, but how do you
Absolutely.
pick that, okay, this protagonist can be an antagonist too? I just want to, just go into how does the working, like, thinking process works for a director when they see a person and they try to, just objectify, okay, I can pick up this and I can make something out of this characteristic of this person. How do you magnify a person, sir? Basically, what I want to ask.
Everyone has their own philosophy. All right.
Hmm.
Everyone, each and every person in this world has their own philosophy. First of all, everyone is not a creator.
Right.
Everyone is not an artist. Everyone cannot paint. If I'm a
True.
painter, I'll put my philosophy, my perspective of art on the canvas. And my philosophy, my perspective of art will be different than yours because your thinking and my thinking on the same matter will be slightly different. All right. So director will, as a philosopher, will only see their own perspective. That's why one director differs from Suraj Barjatia will make a film, even though they make the same kind of film. Suraj Barjatia and Sanjay Leela Bansali, they make
Hmm.
similar kind of film, but their portrayal of films are their platform. Even they are larger than life, but their portrayal of the storytelling is different because they have
Yes,
their
sir.
own philosophy, their own perspective. They believe in
Right.
some different kind of romance. He's more conservative. He's more aggressive. One person is more conservative. One person is more aggressive. One person uh, is more into rich and poor relationship. One person is rich to rich relationship. So they have their own belief and philosophy, and that is exactly what they want to portray to people. Their
Right.
own perspective. You get me?
Right. But sir, at the end of the day, you want to make your subjective, after all, objective, right? You want to make it palatable for the audience too. How
It's for
much?
everyone.
Right.
Everyone.
So,
See, I can
hmm,
only create everyone. That's why in the very beginning I said every film is commercial and
hmm,
every film is art.
hmm,
Every theater production is commercial. Every theater production is art.
true.
But there is entertainment factor into it. There is realistic factor into it. There is in between factor to it. You know,
Hmm,
slightly there will be fairy tale factor to it.
hmm,
It's the way you think. I would definitely paint a picture and I would hope that it gets sold.
right.
It might get sold for 5,000 rupees. It might get sold for 50 rupees.
Hmm,
I can only hope for the best.
right.
You get me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah. Regarding this, Ambika, you have a question. I think that can go along with what we discussed just now. Ambika, are you online?
Yes. So hello, Sudip sir. I saw your
Hello.
performance in the serial Era Shotru, and I can remember
Oh,
my mother
long
was a
time back.
great, yeah, long back, and my mother is a great fan of yours, and also your character portrayal in Srimoi also is really commendable. So, does
Thank you.
playing a good or bad character affect one's personal life? Since you are into it, you used to work like 16 to 17 hours on a set. So, does it affect on your personal life? Sometimes, if you're playing negative role or if you're playing any positive role, so
See,
that's
it
my
is not.
question.
It is not the characters you portray that affect your personal life, but it is the time which you are giving to your personal people that affects your personal life. Working for 18, 20 hours in a day definitely affects your personal life because you don't have enough time for your family and dear ones, but not the characters. Because
Uh,
characters, everyone knows this is acting, and when people who are close to you, they know what kind of profession you are in. That does not matter. And we are so used to being professional, we switch on and switch off while working and out of it.
oh, that's really good. Yeah.
See, when I worked, when I acted in Erao at the same time, that was a protagonist character. And at the same time, I worked in Kurukshetra, which was absolutely antagonist, as I was telling a few minutes ago. So
Yeah.
these are two different portrayals at the same time.
Hmm.
So I used to switch on and off from protagonist to antagonist when I used to switch, shoot.
Yes. Thank you,
So
sir.
it does not matter much here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll thank you, Ambika, for that question. So I'll come back to the question that I wanted to ask you, which is like you explained very well that the film or the play or whatever it is basically the director's vision. So as an artist, uh, what is the role of actor? How much of art creativity that an actor can add on to that vision? Is it aligned? Should it always be aligned with what the director has? Because as Dr. Kalyani has also asked, does the director has the
See,
last word?
again, I'll give you a very simple example. Suppose you want to uh, have a, suppose, Anand, you want to have a uh, dining table in your dining room. You want a specific kind of dining table. Okay. And you come to me, Sudip, I want a dining table like this where four of us will sit. And I want it in this way. You give a particular design, you talk about particular design. I, being a carpenter, I carve that dining table, I create that dining table. And if it matches your mindset, and if it is not matching your mindset, you will not like it. You will reject it. Now the thing is, even after matching your mindset, I can put in some of my craft into it in creating that dining table. So that is what an artist does. You know, you have to connect with director's philosophy, and then you can put in your craft. And yeah, because the director has cast you because they have a vision about you. So it is connecting with the director in a two-dimensional path and then getting into the third dimension with your mind, your craft, and director's philosophy.
Thank you. I think Aprajita Kumar has a question here.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead, Aprajita.
Okay, hello, sir. So my question is
Hi.
this: yes, don't you think that OTT has overpowered the TV daily soaps? Like you used to do Kurukshetra, Erao, and even Srimoyi, and they were so much discussed. Like everyone used to enjoy this show, and they used to wait for the next episode or something that I have seen.
Aprajita, where do
If
you stay?
Okay, I'm in West Bengal, sir, in Boshirat. I don't think I think you know
In
about
Boshirat.
Boshirat.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know about Boshirat. I'll tell you something. Not yet. Television has a different kind of people watching it. Of course, there are common people who watch OTT and television, like I'm talking about my wife. She watches both the serial and the OTT platform. There are two perspectives of OTT platform. One, it is more urban, even these days, because people are not. There are different type of OTT platforms. There are different OTT platforms like Netflix is there. There are Prime Video. There are Z5. There's Food. There are this, that, etc., etc., etc. So people cannot. The en masse people of the country cannot afford to have all the OTT platforms in their mobile phone. And there is also the issue of connectivity. And there is also an issue of storytelling, which is not yet very easy to connect with rural people. We always travel from one place to another. But the more rural area I work in, they have never heard of these OTT platforms at all. So it is yet it's a long way to go. Like television is connects with people who are there at home. And in rural Bengal or rural countries, you get a lot of number of channels in a package, in a 200 rupees package. You get me? So that makes a huge difference.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you for the
So
answer.
revenue is one very important thing. The economy of it is a very important thing, important factor. Like people once upon a time used to watch Doordarshan only, but when different channels came up, they made them used to those channels and then they got into the package. It's like mobile connectivity, you start getting used to this mobile phone and then they start charging higher. It's something like that. But that has not happened with OTT, thankfully. Still, they charge for individual OTT platforms, they charge quite a lot, which is not affordable for all.
And
Thank you.
Anuradha Banerjee has asked a question whether negative roles have affect your mental health, which you have already answered. So I think I'll let Saurabh ask this question. Saurabh, are you online?
Yes, I'm here, sir. Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir. This is Saurabh here, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Shurab.
Sir, this is my question that what is the parameter that on what basis we can call a film that this film is a success one? Okay, so what is the parameter of a successful film? Is it the film's revenue or the artistic quality of a movie or the realistic portrayal of the character? Because in India, there are so many movies. They got ultimately successful. They got so many applause for the country. But that's that kind of question, it came into my mind, and I thought that I should ask this question to you. So here's my question.
See, the primary issue is reduction to uh, revenue earned ratio has to be the prime base of success. Suppose you are making a film with 100 crore and you are earning 500 crore. So ratio is 1:2. That has to be called a successful movie. But then there are critically acclaimed movies also which do not get to people, Not so
Yes, sir.
it's first of all, you have to understand why we are making films. Is it for us to sit at home and watch, or it is for the people to watch?
Definitely for the people.
For the people to
Right.
watch. So the more people you get to and make people watch that film has to be the successful,
Definitely.
because that's the primary perspective of making a film. Because you want to showcase your artwork. You want to
Exactly.
reach out to people. And the more people watch your film, more successful it is. As simple as that.
Yes, sir. Because there are so many movies, like I watched this movie Raincoat,
Absolutely.
and I thought
Yeah,
that this movie is outstanding one, but on the basis of
absolutely.
revenue,
That is indeed. Yes, I am not only talking about revenue. How many people have watched Rainbow?
yes, that is the question.
That's the question. So you cannot. It is a good film, but it is not a successful film.
Yeah,
When you're talking about successful, if you're talking about good and bad, that's a different question. But when you're talking about success, it is all about revenue earned.
definitely, sir. So I think I should frame my question like good or bad, not success one.
Correct. So
Thank you,
good
sir.
and bad is again, it's all about perspective.
Hmm.
My taste of goodness will be different from your taste of goodness. You get me? But
Yes, sir,
when,
I'm getting you.
again, that ratio, when larger ratio of people say this film is good, that is a good film. It's
Outstanding,
as
sir.
simple as that.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. You answered so many questions of mine.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you, sir.
So thank you, Sudipda. Like you have spent more than it's almost 1.5 hours, and thank you for spending so much of time with us, answering all our questions so
It was
patiently.
very
because
interesting, Anand. Thank you for inviting me in.
we
It was
understand
very
that you
interesting.
have a shot to take after this, after
Yes,
switching it
everyone
off.
is coming and like going off.
Yeah, we can see
Because the
movement in
lunchtime is
your
over.
background, preparing for the next
Yeah.
shot. So thanks a lot for being here and answering your questions. Dr. Kalyani, do you have a winding up note? You can formally end the session with that.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Our students have greatly benefited from understanding how to develop not only a career in acting, but some of the things you said are true for every professional in any field.
I'll just tell this to everyone. See, life is, as it is, very complicated. Our society, our mindset, our gadgets, they make it very complicated. But actually, life is very simple. So I would suggest everyone to think simply and go ahead simply. Even in your creation, things will get more sophisticated, more complicated as it is. If your
And
thought
also, as you
process
said,
is, you are clear
set
about
your
your thought process.
priorities right.
Yes, priorities are very important.
Thank you very much. There's a humble request to you. If there is anything we can ask, where can we reach you?
Anand, you should, you being the host, you should answer this. I have
Yeah,
my
you can-
Facebook.
Anyone here in this room can post their questions to us. We will take it to Sudipda and then get a reply depending on the schedule that he's working on at that moment. Because getting him online is the hardest part that I have experienced while interacting with him. So we are really fortunate to have that he got 1.5 hours marked out for us. So feel free to ask any questions related to acting, art, everything. Like you can post the questions to our groups. We'll get it answered from him.
And we really look forward to having more sessions with you. We have lots of students who are not in this session. And over the years, I'm sure they'll be really groomed by you by talking to you. Thank you so much.
And we would
Thank
love
you so
to have
much.
one
It
of the
was pleasure.
physical session also when you are coming to Kerala. We'll have a physical session.
All right, that will be very interesting. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Probably next year, sometime in the summer.
Probably
Right.
we'll have a theatre training session, Kalyani. Dr. Kalyani,
Yes.
we'll have him for a training session.
Wonderful. Yes.
So thank you all. Thank you all
you.
for the very interesting session, very interesting questions.
So much.
And making Sudipda speak so much for us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.